Hi, my name's Dave Adams, you're watching The Core Mechanic, and today we are looking at number 27 on Mike Selinker's list of 100 games you absolutely positively must know how to play. Set. Set was designed by Marsha J. Falco and is published by her own company, Set Enterprises. She initially designed the game back in about 1974, but didn't really bring the game into fruition until about 1988, and the game received full publication in 1991. It's a party game, so it plays between 2 to 20 odd players in about 30 minutes. The game has only 81 cards, with each card containing a variation of any 4 combinations of either number, symbol, shading, or color, with each possible combination appearing only once within the deck. The idea is to get through the deck finding a match, whether you find a match of 3 cards with everything in common or a match of 3 cards with nothing in common. Set came out of Marsha's work in 1974 as a geneticist when she was trying to understand if epilepsy was an inherited trait within German Shepherds. No, the other kind of German Shepherd. As a way of visually representing different traits of dogs, she created this coding system and placed them onto cards. As she was teaching her interns or graduate students, she would use these cards as a way of helping them to identify different traits, and over time she began to see the patterns and realized it was kind of a fun game to play. She eventually refined the game into the game Set. Set was Marsha's most popular game, but she's actually been really successful as a game designer, designing games like 5 Crown, Quiddler, and Wordspiel. I have to be honest, 5 Crown has a particular place in my heart, as it was the game that I played several times a week when I lived out bush teaching in Central Australia. I have many fond memories of playing many games, sitting around a table, building friendships, having great laughs. The game really kept active and alive gaming in my heart while I was away. When I got back to Brisbane, I made sure I bought a game to bring with me. I have it on my bookshelf now. It will never leave my collection. I love 5 Crowns, no matter how simple it is. It is a great game. And now I have Set. Set is not a perfect game by any means, and there's one main flaw with the game. I suck at it. I don't mean I suck a little bit at it, I really suck at this game. When it comes to suckiness, my suckometer is way off the scales. My primary opponent in the game has been my wife, and I don't know what it is, but she is amazing at it. And I'm really bad. But if that's the only criticism of the game, then I can hardly fault it. The game really draws upon visual perception, and it's actually a great learning tool as well as being a fun, engaging activity. Visual perception is a necessary skill of the brain to function effectively. Visual perception has to do with how we see and interpret the world around us. Without good visual perception, it can impact our reading, our spelling, our writing, and our comprehension. It's really a necessary skill for working both the right and the left-hand side of the brain, and Set, the game, actually does that. It works both sides of the brain. In one instance, you are trying to look at an array and to compare and contrast different pieces of information to determine whether something is similar to, different from, but you're also following rules. Now, this causes your brain to work across the spectrum, and trying to get it to function together is really quite a challenge. Add into the fact that this is a timed game and you're trying to race others to do it, you're not only building the acuity to be able to achieve that function, but you're increasing its ability to do it at a higher rate, which is actually really good and healthy for your brain to do. It makes sense then that this game straight off the bat was the Mensa Select Award winner for 1991, and since then has accumulated any number of awards, including the Deutsche Spielpreis, which I'm not even sure if I said that correctly or not. This is an award I didn't even know anything about, and yet it is an incredibly good award. Its many lists includes winners like Settlers of Catan, Carcassonne, Kingdom Builder, the list goes on. Really high quality games. Now, like any abstract game, Set takes away all sense of theme or purpose. It really is just something you do because you want to do it. It doesn't try to provide a context. It doesn't try to provide any other motivation than this is something that you want to do. You want to compete with your friends in this game, so compete with them. However, it's interesting to me that this game just so easily came out of something completely different. And when trying to consider this idea as a designer, it's probably worth noting that there's many things in life that can provide really interesting mechanics and can just suddenly be fun. Things that we do in the everyday that we somehow find amusing or entertaining. I mean, just even take the idea of flicking things, tiddlywinks, taking bits of paper and using them as little flick balls. That can very easily become the concept of a game like Flick 'em Up. As a designer, I think it's really important to try and not get bogged down in trying to come up with the newest, latest, greatest mechanic, but just to be open to the fact of what is fun. People enjoy playing something, people enjoy doing an activity. Well, maybe that could be a good game design or a good game idea or a good game mechanic. In a good abstract form, everything's shaved back in this game. There's literally nothing else to worry about except this one mechanic. You do this one repetitive action. And that says to me the fact that this game has sustained itself this long, the fact that this game has won so many awards, says a lot just about just that idea that you don't need lots of theme, you don't need lots of interlocking parts and systems, and you don't need to be overly clever to try and come up with something that is engaging and interesting. Now, I don't want to distract from Marsha's success at all. In fact, I am hugely impressed with Marsha Falco's body of work, as well as her contribution to the gaming hobby. Not to mention the fact that on a personal level, she is freaking awesome. She is involved with so much, and even though she's retired, she volunteers her time with dog groups, search and rescue groups. She is insanely amazing and highly worth checking out. But here's a person who was working as a geneticist and just saw that something was fun to do, turned it into a game, and became one of the most successful board game designers of her time. So I think it's just important to consider that fun can come out of almost anything, and the fact that this game is learning and educational. I'm often interested in when things become educational, and I've seen it a lot with comics. When comics become educational, they tend to become boring or dull. In fact, one of the worst things that you can do to anything interesting is to put it in the hands of a teacher. And I say that as a teacher. One of the things we do as teachers, we like to pick up on really good ideas and run with them, or to pick up on really interesting things in society and run with them. And when we do that, that's fine and it's great. But when teachers then try to design their own thing for the sake of education, that seems to be when things don't quite work. And I think we saw that a lot in the video game industry. Video games were found to be hugely not just entertaining, but capable of building eye-hand coordination, capable of stimulating different parts of the brain, getting kids interested and engaged in different ways, helping them to learn in different ways. And as soon as teachers took hold of them and started to try and create educational games, they never sold as well, and quite rightly, they were dull, they were boring, they were trying to force information down your throat. This is a great example of something that is really good for your brain. It's fun, it's great learning, and it's exciting, and it's enjoyable, and it's successful. And so while I'm big as a teacher trying to help kids learn, I think it's great to know that sometimes learning is just fun, and you don't need to try and change that or try and force it in any way. Here's something that was being done for really great high-level work. This was being done by a professional geneticist, trying to solve complex problems, and it just turned out to be great to do. So my hat is off to you, Marsha J. Falco. You've done something incredible here. Not only have you come up with an incredibly successful game, you've come up with an incredibly successful game that is fun and helps you learn. Not easy to do. I think it's a wonderful game. It's certainly worth checking out. Certainly worth even having a copy in your collection. Look, thanks for watching. If you like what we're doing here, please hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Until next time, my name is Dave Adams, and you have been watching The Core Mechanic.